The bank statement trembled in my hands, the numbers blurring through tears I refused to let fall. 0. After 12 years of saving, working, and sacrificing, my college fund showed 0. "Stop being dramatic, Sophia," Dad said, not even looking up from his newspaper. "We explained this. Your brother needs a good lawyer." I stared at the man who'd promised me since I was 6 that education was the key to everything. The same man who'd made me put half of every birthday dollar, every babysitting payment, every minimum wage paycheck into that account. "For your future," he'd always said. Now that future was financing my brother Jake's 3rd DUI defense. $47,000, I whispered. "Gone." Mom walked in from the kitchen, drying her hands on her apron, the one I'd made her in home economics that said "World's Best Mom." The irony wasn't lost on me. "Boys make mistakes," she said, like she was reciting scripture. "Girls make sacrifices. That's how families work." "His 3rd DUI isn't a mistake," I said, my voice stronger now. "It's a pattern. And why is my education the sacrifice?" Dad finally looked up, his expression hard. "Because Jake could go to prison." "Is that what you want? Your brother in prison?" "I want to go to college," I said. "I've been accepted to Georgetown. Full academic scholarship except for room and board. That money was supposed to." "You'll find another way," Mom interrupted, that practiced smile on her face. The one she wore when she told people how proud she was of both her children. "You're resourceful. Maybe take a gap year, work full-time. Or community college first." Community college. I'd graduated valedictorian. Perfect SATs. President of 3 clubs. Volunteered at the hospital every weekend for 4 years. And they wanted me to go to community college while Jake, who'd barely graduated high school, who'd been fired from 6 jobs, who spent his nights drinking and his days sleeping, got the best lawyer money could buy. My money. "When's the trial?" I asked. "Next month," Dad said, already turning back to his paper. Discussion over. Decision made. Daughter dismissed. I smiled then. A real smile, not the practiced one I'd learned from Mom. "Okay." They both looked surprised. Mom's hands stilled on her apron. Dad's newspaper lowered an inch. "Okay," Mom echoed. "You're right," I said calmly. "I'll find another way." I turned and walked upstairs, each step measured and quiet. In my room, I closed the door and leaned against it, listening. They were already talking about something else. Jake's lawyer wanted to meet Tuesday. Did Mom need anything from the store? Wasn't it nice that Sophia was being so understanding? Understanding. They had no idea what I understood now. I pulled out my laptop and began typing. First, an email to Georgetown, deferring my enrollment for 1 semester. Then another to my guidance counselor, asking for copies of every scholarship application I'd submitted. Finally, I opened a new document and began making a list. Things they didn't know about me. 1. I'd been accepted to 6 other schools with various financial aid packages. 2. I had copies of every deposit slip into that college account. 3. Jake's lawyer was my best friend Mika's uncle. 4. I'd been recording our conversations for my journalism project on family dynamics. That last one had started innocently. But over the past year, I'd captured hundreds of hours of the subtle and not-so-subtle ways they'd always put Jake first. The Christmas where his PlayStation cost more than all my gifts combined. The night they missed my National Honor Society induction because Jake needed a ride home from a party. The way Mom did his laundry at 24 while I'd been doing my own since 12. But this was different. This was $47,000 worth of evidence that I wasn't a daughter to them. I was a resource. A well to drain when Jake needed water. Over the next week, I played the perfect daughter. I helped Mom cook dinner, listened to Dad complain about work, even drove Jake to his lawyer appointments. Neither parent noticed I was recording everything. Neither noticed I was asking very specific questions. "So Jake," I said during one drive, "this is your 3rd DUI. What happened with the first 2? He laughed from the passenger's seat, reeking of stale beer despite it being 10 a.m. Dad handled it. You know how he is. Said boys will be boys. And the lawyer fees? I dunno. Couple grand each time? Dad said not to worry about it. Where'd the money come from? Jake shrugged. Mom said something about a rainy day fund. My rainy day fund. My future fund. My escape fund. Must be nice, I said casually, having parents who support you no matter what. Yeah, he agreed, missing the edge in my voice. Though they're always on my case about finding a job. Like, I'll get to it when I get to it, you know? I knew. I'd had a job since 14. That evening at dinner, I set my plan in motion. I've been thinking about what you said, Mom. About finding another way. She beamed. I knew you'd come around. You've always been my practical girl. So I applied for some local jobs. Full-time positions. Dad nodded approvingly. That's the spirit. Save up for a year or two, then college. Actually, I said, cutting my chicken with precision, I got an offer today. Live-in nanny position. The table went quiet. Live-in, Mom repeated. With the Morrison family. You know, the lawyers downtown? They need someone to watch their kids and help with homework. Room, board, and a salary. I start Monday. Monday. Dad's fork clattered. That's in 5 days. Well, the fall semester starts soon, and they need someone before school begins. But, Mom looked genuinely confused. You'll live there? Not here. That's what live-in means, I said patiently. But don't worry. I'll visit on weekends. When I can. Jake laughed. Come on, sophomore. You're not really moving out because of the college thing. I'll pay you back when I get a job. I looked at him, really looked at him. 24 years old, wearing a shirt Mom had washed, eating food Mom had cooked, about to be saved by money I'd earned. When will that be, Jake? What? When will you get a job? Because you said the same thing after the first DUI. And the second. And when you crashed Mom's car. And when you needed bail money last year. Sophia. Mom gasped. What? I'm just being practical. Isn't that what I'm supposed to be? Dad's face was getting red. Your brother is going through a difficult time. His difficult time cost me Georgetown. You can still go to Georgetown, Mom said desperately. Just later. When? After Jake's 4th DUI? His 5th? After you've spent my graduate school money too? My wedding fund? My first house down payment? Now you're being ridiculous, Dad said. Am I? How much have you spent on Jake's mistakes versus my successes? Silence. That's what I thought. I stood, placing my napkin beside my plate. The Morrisons are picking me up Sunday evening. I'll pack this week. You can't just leave, Mom said, tears in her eyes. We're your family. No, I said quietly. I'm your savings account. And as of today, I'm closed. I walked upstairs, leaving them at the table. Behind me, I heard Jake ask, Is there dessert? Sunday came faster than expected. I'd packed methodically, taking everything that mattered. My awards, my photos with friends, my laptop with all those recordings. I left behind the family pictures, the matching Christmas sweaters, the illusion that I was valued for more than what I could provide. The Morrisons arrived at 6 p.m. sharp in their SUV. Dr. Morrison helped me load my boxes while her husband chatted with my parents on the porch. I could see Mom wringing her hands, Dad standing stiff and uncomfortable. You sure about this, Sophia? Dr. Morrison asked quietly. It's a big step. I'm sure, I said. Besides, someone needs to make sacrifices, right? At least this time, I'm choosing mine. She squeezed my shoulder. She knew the story. Mika had told her everything. As we drove away, I didn't look back. But I did check my phone when it buzzed. Mom, please reconsider. We can work something out. Dad, stop being selfish. Your brother needs us united. Jake, can you Venmo me $50? Lawyer needs another deposit. I deleted all 3 messages and blocked their numbers. They'd find out soon enough that the Morrison job was real, but it was also temporary. Just for the summer, just long enough to establish residency in New York, where Georgetown's sister campus offered a January start program with full financial aid for independent students. Independent. The key word was independent. See, what they didn't know, what they'd never bothered to learn, was that I'd been planning for this possibility since Jake's 2nd DUI. When I saw them dip into my fund for his lawyer, just this once, I knew there'd be a next time. So I'd researched emancipation laws, financial aid loopholes, how to declare myself independent for FAFSA purposes. The Morrisons weren't just offering me a job. They were offering me documentation. Proof I was self-supporting. Proof I wasn't claimed as a dependent. Proof I was free. 3 months later, I was sitting in my dorm room at Georgetown when Mika called. You're not going to believe this, she said. Try me. Jake got arrested again. DUI number 4. Your parents called my uncle begging for a payment plan. I said nothing, looking out my window at the campus I'd worked so hard to reach. They also asked if he knew where you were. Said there was a family emergency. Let me guess, the emergency is they need money? Bingo. Apparently, they mortgaged the house for Jake's last lawyer. They're behind on payments now. I should have felt something. Guilt, maybe. Or vindication. Instead, I felt empty, like looking at strangers' problems from a distance. Sophia? You there? Yeah, I said. Just thinking. About how they were right, actually. Girls do make sacrifices. They just never specified who we're supposed to sacrifice for. That night, I got one last message from an unknown number. Jake, probably using a friend's phone. Soph, I know you're mad, but I'm your brother. That has to count for something. Help me out one more time? I promise I'll change. I stared at it for a long moment. Then I typed back. Being family does count for something. It counted for $47,000. Your account is now overdrawn. I blocked that number too and went back to my economics homework. I had a test tomorrow and a future to build. One that I was paying for myself, with money earned from my own choices, my own work, my own worth. They'd taught me well, really. Boys make mistakes. Girls make sacrifices. They just never imagined I'd sacrifice them.